Bleh. Here's my takeaway from the situation. I don't really need to worry about what Glenn says or does at this point for whatever attention or trolling or whatever the fuck this is, you know? Because here's the thing. Discovering the Misfits as a teenager was a life-changing moment for me, as I'm sure it was for everyone else. I found this music that sort of helped define aspects of myself that, you know, don't fit in with what mainstream society wanted me to be, you know, or what my parents wanted me to be, or what anybody wanted me to be, you know. And I suppose that's the power of punk rock as a whole, you know. As I've said here on the show before, hearing this guy with this amazing voice singing about how, you know, he turned into a Martian, or that he was a teenager from Mars and didn't care, you know, after I grew up being called, you know, as a child, people called me a Martian. You know, people call me Gonzo. They called me all sorts of things. And so to like be 15 and like listening to this guy go, I turned into a Martian. Whoa, like, wow. Whoa, teenagers from Mars and we don't care. Yeah, I'm a teenager from Mars. That's right. It's okay. You know, we don't care. I felt seen. To find others who feel the same affinity for this stuff. You know, we got to have our own secret club. When I sing out loud, I want your skull, someone else responds, I need your skull. They know. When 138 randomly turns up somewhere and I point it out, one of you will understand my compulsion, right? We all, oh, 138. You see it all the time. Everybody's always posting, oh, look, it's on my receipt. It said 138. Or how about this? Every explanation or reason can be summed up with it's about violence, you know? And most certainly, if you don't know the name of this song, what the fuck are you doing here? You know, this thing that Glenn Danzig created, the bands, the imagery, the iconography, the attitude, the songs, their music and the lyrics, the punk rock DIY spirit, it doesn't just belong to Glenn. It belongs to all of us who love it and have formed communities of fandom around it, you know? And here's the thing, we will carry it with us long after Glenn Danzig shuffles loose his mortal coil and takes a long way back to hell. Because, you know, one day Glenn will die, but what he created, it's going to live on, and it's ours. It's ours to carry on with us, a legacy of brutality, you know? This is one of the most recent lessons that I learned in my life. I learned not so long ago that I have to refuse to lose joy when the things that I love have rough corners that make them hard to handle. Okay? I have to refuse to lose joy. I'm not going to lose joy when something that I love has rough corners that make it hard to handle. Because, you know, life can be really tough. And, you know, the things that do bring us joy, like, you know, to deprive ourselves of the things that bring us joy, like that's no fun. That's not good. In closing, I have one more story that brings me to a topic that I've alluded to, but I've never really discussed in depth. And I'm going to go off. I'm going to raw dog this one, as the kids are all now saying, raw dog it. I'm going to raw dog this. I don't have anything written down for this. I'm just going to tell the story.